Good evening. We are starting News Track with an exclusive India Today investigation. With the Reserve Bank of India withdrawing the 2,000 rupee notes, the cash mafia, they've swung into action. Black money hoarders are actually turning into shady bullion traders. We'll show you exclusive images. This underground economy that's thriving on unaccounted wealth. This big India Today investigation coming up on the News Track. Also on the show, an unparliamentary debate on the new parliament building. India is the mother of democracies and there is a new temple of democracy that's coming up. Is the opposition boycott of the new Lok Sabha a sign of old frustration? I'm Gaurav Sawant. We'll talk about that in greater detail. But first, as always, the headlines. Ancient Chola Sengal to be installed in the new parliament on the 28th of May. It's a symbol of justice and righteous governance. Gyanvapi controversy reignites. Mosque committee files a fresh petition in court. Insists there is no shivling in the mosque Wazukhana area. Claims Aurangzeb was not cruel and did not demolish the Adi Vishweshwara temple in Varanasi. Siddaramaiah government considers overturning the hijab ban in Karnataka, calls it unconstitutional. Prime Minister Narendra Modi concludes his Australia visit, marks an end to his three-nation tour, holds bilateral talks with the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, demands strict action against vandalism of temples in Australia and the rise of Khalistani elements. Trouble mounts for former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan and other close aides, and former Pakistan Federal Minister Fawad Hussain Chaudhry resigns from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Pakistan government mulls banning Imran Khan's party. But I want to begin News Track with an exclusive investigation conducted by the India Today undercover investigations team. Now, this report uncovers how some bullion traders are now offering dubious services to exchange the 2,000 rupee notes. What makes this even more alarming is that these traders are effectively aiding hoarders of unaccounted money in disposing of this high-value banknote at a significantly reduced value, even exchanging them at a premium for gold. This is India Today's Nitin Jain and Shreya Chatterjee bringing you that exclusive investigation.
On their way out, ground rules in place for exchange or deposit of 2,000 rupee banknotes in the next 4 months. No demonetization, no currency ban. Still, the cash mafia seems to be in high gear once again. An India Today investigation has found how several bullion traders in the national capital are now dubiously exchanging the withdrawn 2,000 rupee notes, facilitating hoarders of unaccounted money to dispose of the highest denomination of our currency at a lower value or swap it with gold at a premium. All off the book. This is Naresh Bansal, owner of Bansal & Sons Jewelers store in Delhi's Chandni Chowk. When probed, he proposed exchanging 1 crore rupees in 2,000 rupee denomination for 93 lakh in 500 rupee bills.
क्या बता रहे हैं आपका कितने रुपए का देना होगा सर 2000 वाले हमें गोल्ड चाहिए नोट के बदले नोट चाहिए ना गोल्ड चाहिए गोल्ड में गोल्ड चाहिए भी नोट के बदले नोट पे होगा तो वही कर लेंगे वो भी मिल जाएगा इसीलिए हाँ दोनों.
You heard Naresh Bansal offering to exchange 1 crore rupees in 2,000 rupee notes. He now quotes his commission.
करोड़ में 7%.
1 करोड़ का आप 7% का चार्ज लेंगे अगर हम कैश में देंगे.
कैश टू कैश.
कैश टू कैश.
That comes down to 93 lakh rupees in exchange for 1 crore rupees in 2,000 rupee notes.
तो कहते हैं तो लाल नोट वालों की सेवा करेंगे.
But if a black money hoarder wants 24 karat gold in return, Bansal would also provide it at a premium price. On a day when 24 karat gold was priced at 61,570 rupees for 10 grams in the market, Bansal proposed to exchange it with 2,000 rupee notes at 67,000 rupees, a premium of approximately 5,500 rupees per 10 grams of gold. He also asserted that bullion traders like him are currently selling gold exclusively in return for 2,000 rupee notes in order to maximize their profits.
ये मेटल लोगे तो इतने का लगेगा.
मेटल में कितना है?
67 का एक.
67 का. और
अगर मैं मेटल दे रहा हूँ आगे और 500 का दे रहा हूँ जब भी दे रही हूँ क्योंकि उनके मेटल गिनती का है. तो कहते हैं तो लाल नोट वालों की सेवा करेंगे.
We investigate further. Nitin Bansal also deals in gold and silver at Chandni Chowk.
एक्चुअली ये मार्केट में 2 रेट चल रहे हैं. तो शहर वाले भी चल रहे हैं.
At the Satya Jewel store he owns, Nitin Bansal offered to exchange 1 crore rupees in 2,000 rupee bills with 24 karat gold, a price exceeding 4,000 rupees above its market rate on Monday.
गोल्ड देखना है 2000 का.
एक्चुअली ये मार्केट में 2 रेट चल रहे हैं. तो शहर वाले भी चल रहे हैं और 500 जो 2000 वाले का रेट है सर 65,750 रुपये. समझ मेरे बात को. आपसे हम केवाईसी नहीं ले रहे लेकिन काइंड ऑफ जो आपको महंगा पड़ रहा है वो क्यों पड़ रहा है क्योंकि ज्वेलर कहीं ना कहीं जीएसटी ठोककर आपसे काम कर रहा है. आपका पैसा कम कर रहा है. ठीक है. बस फर्क इतना सा है कि आपके नाम का बिल नहीं कट रहा वो बिल कटेंगे. अरे सर तो रेडियो के पास आपका जाए.
We next visit another hub of bullion trading in Delhi. Paras Bhola owns Darshan Jewellers in Karol Bagh market. He offered to sell 24 karat gold at 67,000 rupees per 10 grams in exchange for 2,000 rupee bills. Bhola claimed black money hoarders bought it for as high as 70,000 rupees since the day the Reserve Bank announced the 2,000 rupee note withdrawal.
ये क्या भाव दे 2000 में? भारत बोल रहा हूँ 67 मिलेगा जी. 67 और आज क्या रेट है? 63 है ना? 62 ये भी 70 से भी एक टूटा हुआ 70,000 बेच देते हम. 70,000 चल रहा था पहले. वो थोड़ा रेट टूट गया.
Tax thieves and the underground economy, roadblocks in the way of a cleaner financial system, remain as stubborn as ever. With Nitin Jain and Shreya Chatterjee, this is India Today's special investigation team.
We will continue to track developments on the story closely, but I now want to shift focus to the other big controversy. There is unparliamentary politics raging over the new parliament building. At least 19 opposition parties, including the Congress, the Trinamool Congress, the Aam Aadmi Party and the NCP, have decided to boycott the inauguration of the parliament building. They claim there is no value in the new building when the soul of democracy has been sucked out. But is the parliament building just a building for the opposition? Is this not the new temple for democracy and the oldest democracy in the world? Or is every event for the opposition an issue to target the government, as some in the BJP say? Is the opposition now becoming Vignajivis or opposing for the sake of it? We bring you this report.
Naya Bharat's Naya Sansad rises. This is the biggest landmark of New India. bigger, swankier and future ready, made for the people of India. But with this new parliament comes old politics and frustration. In the biggest moment for democracy in modern times, many opposition parties are sulking instead of participating in the celebration. The Congress, which has been a vociferous critic of this new parliament, is leading an opposition, boycotting the new parliament unveiling by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, seeking that the unveiling be done by President Murmu herself.
The way in which you undermine the President of India, the first woman tribal President of India, where is the justification? You are violating the constitutional principles. We are violating the protocols. You are violating the customs.
The decorum, with the basic decorum which has to be followed, is not being followed. So many opposition parties have decided to boycott it.
ये इनॉगुरेशन राष्ट्रपति करते तो ठीक होता. नरेंद्र मोदी अपना प्रचार करने चाहते हैं कि वही पार्लियामेंट का बिल्डिंग बनाया. ये हमें अच्छा नहीं लगा.
But not all opposition parties are with the Congress. The Akalis, who had famously broken away from the BJP-led NDA, came out backing the new Sansad, calling it India's pride and slamming the opposition's petty politics.
इलेक्शन का साल है, वो अपने अपने इशू पार्टियां बना रही हैं, लेकिन ये देश का एक बड़ा काम हुआ है. देश को अपनी पार्लियामेंट जो है पहली बार अपनी आप बनाई है, तो उसमें खुशी से सबको शामिल होना चाहिए. इसमें तो कोई इशू बनाने की बात नहीं है.
The BJP in counter has cited instances of Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi, who as Prime Ministers had unveiled the Parliament Annex and separate wings. The BJP even asked the Congress to take pride in India's progress and not get blinded by hate for Modi.
अगर आपके हेड ऑफ गवर्नमेंट इनॉगरेट कर सकते हैं पार्लियामेंट की एनेक्सी को और लाइब्रेरी को, तो हम इस समय के हेड ऑफ गवर्नमेंट क्यों नहीं कर सकते? सिंपल इज दैट. मुझे लगता है कि ये दिस वाज अ वेरी पुअर अटेम्प्ट एट क्रिएटिंग ए डाइवर्जन.
Home Minister Amit Shah has invited all opposition parties to uphold the national spirit together.
प्रधानमंत्री जी 28 मई को संसद का नवनिर्मित भवन राष्ट्र को समर्पित करेंगे. हमने तो भारत सरकार ने सबको विनंती किया है कि आप उपस्थित रहिए. सब अपनी अपनी भावना के अनुसार करेंगे.
India's parliament belongs to its citizens. Should not parties rise above cheap theatrics for the sake of dissent? Bureau Report, India Today.
And the pride of place in the new Lok Sabha will be awarded to an ancient Chola dynasty relic, a Sengal, the gold scepter that was the symbol of the Chola ruler's sovereignty and of his connect with his people. But this would be just an impartial, so that there is a just, impartial and a righteous reign. It was chosen to symbolize the transfer of power to an independent India at the midnight of August 14 and 15, 1947. Here's more about the Sengal that will now be installed next to the Speaker in the new Parliament. It would be given to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and he will take it inside the Lok Sabha.
The new Lok Sabha will have a significant piece of history as it's inaugurated on the 28th of May. A Chora dynasty artifact, Sengal, a golden scepter, will be placed by the Prime Minister next to the Lok Sabha Speaker's seat.
जब संसद भवन का देश को समर्पण होगा, उसी दिन आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी बड़ी विनम्रता के साथ तमिलनाडु से आए हुए अधिनम से सेंगोल को स्वीकार करेंगे और अत्यंत आदरपूर्वक माननीय लोकसभा के अध्यक्ष के आसन के समीप सम्मान के साथ इसको स्थापित करेंगे।
Sengal, derived from the Tamil word semmai, which means righteousness, was used by the Chora kings to signify transfer of power from one ruler to the other. The Chora kings sought the blessings of Lord Shiva through the passing on of the Sengal. From ancient to modern history, the Sengal became a symbol of transfer of power from Lord Mountbatten, the last Viceroy of British India, to the first Prime Minister of independent India, Jawaharlal Nehru. According to historical accounts, Mountbatten had asked the soon-to-be Prime Minister what would mark the transfer of power when India attains independence. Nehru then turned to see Rajagopalachari, the country's last Governor-General, for advice. Rajagopalachari, fondly called Rajaji, told Nehru about the Tamil tradition of the high priest handing over a scepter to a new king when he comes to power. Rajaji contacted Tiruvadurai Adinam, a prominent mutt in present-day Tamil Nadu. The then seer of the mutt accepted the responsibility. The Sengal was made by Vumidi Bangaru Chetty, a jeweler in then Madras. It is 5 feet in length and has a Nandi bull on top, symbolizing strength, truth and justice.
Top where you see is the Nandi. Since it was a Shaivite Adinam, so they had placed the Nandi right on top. Below that we have a Lakshmi. The Nandi also justifies for justice. So that's what it signifies. And the Lakshmi is for wealth. So the ruler should have the right amount of finances, should also deliver a right justice to its people.
ये एक महत्वपूर्ण स्थान पर जा रहा था, इसलिए उच्च गुणवत्ता आवश्यक थी। हमें इसके निर्माण का आदेश मिला। यह चांदी से बना था, जिस पर सोने की परत थी। आधीनम के सानिध्य में इस निर्माण से जुड़कर मैं बहुत ही प्रसन्न था।
A senior priest of the mutt first handed over that scepter to Lord Mountbatten, and on the 14th of August, it was unveiled. It was then sprinkled with Ganga Jal, taken in a procession to Prime Minister Nehru, and handed over 15 minutes before midnight when India attained independence.
ये नया संसद भवन प्रधानमंत्री जी की दूरदर्शिता का प्रमाण है, जो नए भारत के निर्माण में हमारी सांस्कृतिक विरासत, परंपरा और सभ्यता को आधुनिकता से जोड़ने का एक सुंदर प्रयास है।
The Sengal is currently in a museum in Allahabad, from where it will be brought to its new address, India's new parliament. Bureau Report, India Today.
There is a new temple for the mother of democracies, and yet 19 political parties choose to boycott the August inauguration ceremony. Is Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurating the new parliament building the glue that binds the opposition just on this issue, or will this continue till the 2024 elections? The BJP, of course, is not relenting. The BJP has accused the 19 political parties of opposing the ceremony for the sake of opposition. But let's try and make sense of this big political dangal. Joining me on the show is Snehlata Srivastav. She's former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha. Pranav Jha represents the Congress. Sanju Verma of the BJP. GC Malhotra again is former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha. Also with me is Rahul Srivastav, India Today's National Affairs Editor, and he's been going through the archives of the parliament. He'll tell us much more. But Sanju Verma, I want to begin by asking you, ma'am. 19 political parties in our democracy have accused the Narendra Modi government of completely sidelining President Draupadi Murmu and insulting high office. They've decided to boycott the ceremony inaugurating the temple of democracy in the mother of democracies.
You know, Gaurav, I'm quite amused at the hypocrisy of the opposition. You know, I was reading this letter, or rather the joint statement issued by them, and the opposition has quoted Article 79 of the Constitution, which basically talks about the various powers of the President Draupadi Murmu ji in this case. I want to remind the combined opposition of 19 parties, a very fractious and debilitated opposition at that, that please go and read Article 74(1) And Article 75(1) of the Constitution also, with no offence to none, Draupadi Murmuji, the president in this case, is the leader of the state. This is what the Constitution states as per Article 74(1), the de jure head of the state. But the de facto head of the government, and this distinction between de jure and de facto has been made in the Constitution itself. It is not something that I am throwing off my hat. The de facto head of the government is Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the Constitution empowers him the right to go ahead and inaugurate the new Parliament building.
Okay.
The Speaker also, the articles from Article 93 to Article 96, they delineate in great detail the powers vested in the Speaker by the Indian Constitution. So I think the opposition suffers from selective amnesia. They are quoting the Constitution very selectively, and I will just end by saying one thing. The last line I found rather interesting because of its sheer hypocrisy. They say when the soul of democracy has been sucked out from the Parliament, we find no value in the new building. Who is talking about the soul of democracy being sucked out? The Congress party. We know what Indira Gandhi did in 1975 by way of the emergency. We know how Rajiv Gandhi tried to bring anti-defamation bill. Thank God it did not see the light of the day. We recall how Manmohan Singh, aka Sonia Gandhi government, tried to bring in the communal violence bill. Thank God it did not see the light of the day. We remember how Nehru introduced the first amendment to the Constitution and brought great restrictions to free
Fair
speech.
enough, ma'am. You've made your point. Let's take this step by step. Pranav Jha, the BJP accuses the Congress and others in opposition, accuses them of hypocrisy, opposing for the sake of opposition. Union Minister Hardeep Puri, he quoted several instances, including Rajiv Gandhi as Prime Minister laying the foundation stone for Parliament Library in 87, Indira Gandhi inaugurating the Parliament Annex in 1975. Why complain now if Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates the new Temple of Democracy building, sir?
Thank you, Gaurav. I heard your report, and I'm happy that in your report also you called it Temple of Democracy, but there were unnecessary expressions like frustration, sulking and unparliamentary. I think fighting for the right of the President of India is not sulking. It is not unparliamentary. In fact, it is the right of the President that to be defended by at least the opposition of the country. My argument, if you call it Temple of Democracy, the senior former minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, my brethren from Bihar, उन्होंने कहा कि ये लोकतंत्र का मुकुट है. हाँ, लोकतंत्र का मुकुट है. This is a temple of democracy. So who is the supreme deity of the temple of democracy? I ask you, isn't the people of India the supreme deity of the democracy? And who is the first citizen of this temple of India? The President herself. President मतलब राष्ट्राध्यक्ष. प्रधानमंत्री राष्ट्राध्यक्ष नहीं है. President राष्ट्राध्यक्ष. Now coming to the argument. Parliament, we all know and you'll agree, all panelists on this August panel, is that supreme legislative body of this country, of India. And President is the highest constitutional authority. There is no argument about it. And you, my colleague, my friend from the opposition, she said, she quoted Article 79, but she did not describe, it says that the Parliament shall consist of President, the President and two houses, namely the State of Councils, the Council of States and the House of People. It does not say the Parliament annexee, it does not say Parliament Library, it says Parliament. There can only be one Parliament. Okay. We are talking about sanctity of that Parliament, Gaurav, which the President of India is part of. She is the Supreme Commander of the Defence Forces. She is the first citizen. She calls the House in the session. She prorogues the bill. She prorogues the House. She gives assent to the bill. Okay. She is the Supreme in the country. So what are we talking? We are talking the President to the Prime Minister. Okay. I can make more arguments. Sir, you must, during the course of the bulletin, you must. Okay, no, hold on. Sanju Verma, let me decide that.
I did not interrupt you, Sanju Verma. I'm not interrupting Pranav. But okay, you want to respond to it right now, Sanju Verma? Please do before I bring in Rahul Srivastav and our guest, former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha. Go on, Sanju Verma. Quick rebuttal, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. You know, I did not say that I decide the time. I made a normal intervention. You don't need to chide me. And you don't need to get so defensive, Gaurav. Thank you.
I'm never defensive, but Sanju Verma, if you waste time like this, I'm sorry,
So
I'll be forced to go to Rahul Srivastav.
Yes,
Hold
if
on.
you are going
Look,
to be
my
rude
time,
with me,
I am not rude. I just take facts. Get Sanju Verma's faded out. Rahul Srivastav, it's not just Rajiv Gandhi. Rahul Srivastav, it's not just Rajiv Gandhi and Indira Gandhi or the Parliament Annexure or the library. There are multiple examples of Prime Ministers and Chief Ministers inaugurating or laying the foundation stone of state assembly complexes or legislative buildings. Is there merit in the opposition contention, or as some would argue and as some have argued, they are Vignajeevis right now?
Gaurav, just allow me a bit of time. On 18 January 1927, when Lord Irwin read out a message from the King at the time of inauguration of the old parliamentary building, at that time new, he said that the parliament building is to guide India to fashion her future well. I think it is a moment where everybody should have got together. Everything should have been done absolutely to keep the spirit and letter of the Constitution alive. The Constitution of India is explicit. Article 79 very clearly says there shall be a parliament consisting of House of People and House of States. That means the President is an inherent part of the parliament. Then, while 74(1) is being quoted, there is also Article 53 which says that the executive powers of Union is vested in the President of India. That means the President is the head of the executive as well as the constituent of Parliament. But the point here is that if the BJP is being no different, you cited the example of Parliament, NXC and others, then the Congress and others have not been different. And I have a strong belief, Gaurav, that bad starts in Parliament always become a habit. Okay. So the Congress needs to address today and say, we were wrong in the past and so is the BJP. Why I say that? Look at the example. 28th of August, few days after independence, 1947, first portrait, Central Hall, Mahatma Gandhi, inaugurated and unveiled by Rajendra Prasad. The second one, on the 28th of July, 1956, not by Rajendra Prasad, not by Dr. Mavlankar, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, but by Jawaharlal Nehru. The first mistake was made then. After that, 25 portraits in Central Hall, Gaurav, 20 of them by President of India, to Pandit Nehru, VP Singh, Chandrasekhar. Why were they being inaugurated by the Prime Ministers? Dadabhai Naoroji's portrait in Parliament on 13th March 1953, the only time a speaker has unveiled a portrait inside the Parliament.
No, but
why that has happened?
Let me try and understand. Is it wrong? Is it wrong for the Prime Minister to inaugurate, whether it was Rajiv Gandhi or Indira Gandhi or Narendra Modi today? Let me take that to Snehata Srivastav. Is there merit, ma'am, in the opposition saying that the President, the Vice President and the Speaker are being sidelined and the Prime Minister takes center stage? Is there constitutional impropriety or irregularity, ma'am?
Good evening, everyone. Let me start with the constitutional provisions. I will say that about the inauguration, there is no such provision in the Constitution that which building is to be inaugurated by which authority. Okay, number one. Number two is that it is the executive function. See, I am not in politics, please. Yes. So I am not saying anything for any party or anybody. Second thing is that it is the executive function to construct a building, to provide for funds, and to see how the building is being, is coming in the shape. Okay. And Honorable Prime Minister being the head of the executive, he is doing his job. That's what my take is. So after that, once the building is completed, it is to be inaugurated. It can be inaugurated by the Honorable President, Honorable Vice President, Honorable Speaker, but there is nothing wrong if it is being inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister. Because
and there is past precedence.
There's past precedence. I'm not going into all that. I'm just saying that it is the job of the executive head to construct a building and to hand over the building to the parliament.
Okay. So is this much ado about nothing? Is there actually an issue? Sanju, I'm just coming to you, ma'am. Give me 1 minute.
I just would like to add one more thing.
Okay, go on,
that the parliament is notified by the honorable speaker. If you notice, and if you you have seen that at the time of Corona, we had made Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha combining both the houses. So in the first session, in the first thing, the honorable speaker announced that the Rajya Sabha chamber is also part of the Lok Sabha, and vice versa. Rajya Sabha chairman also announced. So it is the notification or the order of the speaker, then it converts into the parliament.
So only after the order. So far that process hasn't happened with this new building. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. GC Malhotra, your take, you know, there is a new parliament building that's coming up. It's likely to be there for another 150 years. It's state-of-the-art building. There's a Sengal that's coming up. As the Union Home Minister said, this has Sanskritik Virasat, Sabhyata and Parampara. Should we be celebrating that, or should we be fighting the way this fight is happening right now? Mr. Malhotra.
This of course is an occasion to celebrate not only the parliament building, which is the present parliament building, which is 100 years old and was not really serving for the suitability of members of parliament, and also for security point of view. We know there has been an attack on parliament.
Yes.
And then for the state-of-art needs of the members of parliament. And if there is a delimitation, the strength of the houses is going to increase.
Yes.
So there was a need for a new building. This was agreed by both the houses of parliament, and the resolutions were passed. Of course, it was opposed by the opposition parties initially also. But when we quote Article 79, where we say Parliament consists of the President, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, it means for the purpose of business of the House, for the purpose of legislation to be transacted, it is the President which is the head of the Parliament. But if a construction of a building is concerned, it's an executive action. An executive action, for that the Prime Minister is the head of that.
Okay.
That is precisely the reason that till now neither the Parliament Annexi nor the Parliament Library building nor even the building of state legislatures were inaugurated by the head of the state Parliament, that is the President, or the representative of President in the states, that is the Governor. Therefore, that is precisely the reason that
so two experts on the panel, both who've been Secretary General in Parliament, they've made it very clear that 79 doesn't apply here.
Yes. Yes.
And my question, if I may, एक नया संसद भवन बन रहा है, एक नया संसद भवन जो अगले 150 साल तक हमारे भारत की वो छवि है, भारत का संसद है. So shouldn't every Indian celebrate that, sir?
May I come in, Gaurav?
Yes, ma'am. Just quickly,
it was a long argument. I don't think people. Gaurav, I don't think there is much argument. I haven't argued that it is wrong to make the parliament. Did I say that? Not even once I said it is wrong to make the parliament. And we are not contending whether it was right to make or not. What we are saying is that inauguration of this temple of democracy
both the experts said it's an executive work. Executive has done it.
I'm
inaugurating state assemblies.
I'm answering. Yes. No. Prime Minister Prime Minister, Gaurav, I'm giving you arguments, just wait for it, give me 2 minutes. See, governors, chief ministers, and you can't compare President of India with governors. Governors are agents of the central government. Please let your viewers know this, that they are the agents of the central governments. Now coming to the Prime Minister, of course he is the head of the executive. He is the head of the Council of Ministers. But is he the head of the state? Prime Minister belongs to a party. Prime Minister himself is elected by the President of India. He is given the oath by the President of India.
Sir, but he's elected by the Council of Ministers, sir, but Sanju Verma wants to come in.
Prime Minister should have large heart.
Okay, Sanju Verma wants to come in. He's elected by his party.
So
MP,
we all
sir.
know what is right.
Okay.
We all know what is
May I
right.
please?
But,
okay, Sanju Verma wants to come in.
But just because they are in power, so people
Thank
are
you.
speaking in their favor.
Sir,
I did not heckle you.
No, fair enough, ma'am. Please respond, ma'am. Go on.
Thank you. Gaurav, I just have this to say to the Congress panelists, that, 4 times the Central Vista petition was actually heard, twice in the Delhi High Court and twice in the Supreme Court, and the Congress put its entire might to ensure that the Central Vista and the new Parliament building do not come into existence. Finally, in June 2021, a 2-judge bench led by Justice Khanvilkar and Justice Sanjeev. I did not interrupt you, Mr. Jha, please. I did not interrupt you, please.
Fair enough. Go on, ma'am.
Thank you. I did not heckle you.
Only Sanju Verma, please. Only Sanju Verma. Sir, I will decide. I will decide if it's sir, I will decide. Go on, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm not speaking.
Yes. So let me repeat, and I don't wish to be heckled by the Congress panelists.
Go on, ma'am.
Gaurav, you will recall in June 2021, the Supreme Court 2-judge bench led by Justice Khanvilkar and Justice Sanjeev Khanna, they not only castigated the opposition and the petitioners, Anya Malhotra and Shoaib Hussain, but they also said that the entire Central Vista project, including the new Parliament building, is a project of national importance and is an essential service, while upholding the prior Delhi High Court judgment by
Fair enough,
Justice
ma'am, but the debate
Patel
today,
and Justice Jyoti
fair
Singh.
enough, ma'am,
Why
but the
is this
debate
man
today,
heckling me?
no, ma'am, the debate today, the opposition says the only issue is whether the Prime Minister should inaugurate it, or the President, or the Speaker. Go on, ma'am.
Gaurav, let me answer that. Gaurav, to that my simple point is this. Congress wants to talk about Article 79. I, from the BJP, have spoken about Article 74, 75, 93 and 96, but the nub of the argument is in Article 245 and 246. Both these articles speak about the delineation of powers between the President, the Prime Minister, the Vice President, the Executive, the Legislature
You are
and the
confusing
Judiciary.
yourself.
Hold on, sir. Sir, hold on. Sir, let her complete her point,
Mr.
sir.
Jha, don't get rattled. It is not you who I need to learn from. Please keep quiet. It is not your turn to speak. Gaurav, I want to ask a simple question. Forget about the fact that Indira Gandhi, inaugurated the Parliament Annexee in 1975-76. Forget about the fact that Rajiv Gandhi inaugurated the Parliament Library in 1987. I want to ask, what was the official constitutional position of Sonia Gandhi when she inaugurated a massive infrastructure project, the Bandra-Worli Sea Link, in 2009? She inaugurated the railway coach factory at Raebareli.
You are equating that to Parliament House. You are equating that to the Parliament House.
Did Sonia Gandhi hold a constitutional position?
Okay,
Why
let
did
me
she
come back.
inaugurate the Bandra-Worli Sea Link?
Okay.
Why did she inaugurate the Atal Tunnel?
If you want to quickly respond, if you want to quickly respond 30 seconds, I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava because I want to stay on the debate today. I want to stay on the subject today. If you want to quickly respond, Pranav Jha.
You are unable to do it. You are unable to do it. My question was, why can't the Prime Minister show the larger heartedness? She is the first citizen of India. The President of India is the Rashtraध्यaksh of this country. जो पार्लियामेंट बना है वो अगले 100 सालों तक चलेगा, वो संसद है, वो that is the highest seat. That is the highest seat.
You are talking about respect for Draupadi Murmu ji. Have you
Does this enrich your debate, Gaurav? The argument enrich your debate.
my only point is
लोगों का
it's
ज्ञान
just
बढ़ा रहे हैं, आप क्या ये बताइए?
It's only politics.
part of
It's
your
only
argument?
politics. मतलब भारत
Is
की
it part of your
संसद का
argument?
उद्घाटन हो रहा है, भारत की
It's
संसद
not
का.
politics.
This is just
about the
Rahul
right
Srivastava.
of-
Rahul Srivastava. Okay, only Rahul Srivastava. Rahul Srivastava, merit in the contention. There is a difference between Parliament session and Parliament building. Point one. Point two. What's the signal that goes out on opposition unity? Yes, 19 parties are together on this issue. Does this stay till 2024? What about TDP, Akali Dal, YSRCP? They are attending the ceremony, Rahul.
Gaurav, the opposition to come together and portray a sense of unity on this issue, I think is a side story. I don't think it is, I think the permutation or combination of opposition unity keep changing. They will keep changing, and 24 could well be anything different. But I think, Gaurav, there is a lot of politics happening on it, but the spirit of constitution is being lost. That's the problem here. Why I say that? Primarily because the constitutional fathers were silent on many issues in the constitution because they never thought that politics will sink to such levels in a country.
Yep.
What I asked today, for example, that if it has happened in the past and the Congress has done it, others have done it, the BJP government could have. What if they had, as Pranav says, large-heartedness, and they could have invited the president, all opposition could have come. Remember, 1927, our parliament was inaugurated. We were under colonial yoke. We were fighting for freedom and that kind of democracy.
Can't the opposition show large-heartedness for a change?
And Sanju, please let me finish. And
Mr.
that's the
Srivastava,
second point here.
Okay, one by one.
Please
Ma'am,
let me finish.
Ma'am, I did not let
The
Pranav
second
Jha
point I'm
interrupt
saying
you.
is-
The moment Rahul Srivastava finishes, I'll come to you. Go on, Mr. Srivastava, finish your point, sir.
So the government could have shown large heart. Similarly, why can't the opposition say that even if Prime Minister is inaugurating it, we will go there, takhti leke mark our protest, but we will go there and stand because it is our parliament inaugurated. There are two wrongs happening, not one.
He's the Prime Minister of the country. He's not Prime Minister of a party. But that's one point. Snehlata Srivastava, merit in the government saying, you know, they go back to 2011 or the BJP saying... Sorry? He's Prime Minister of the country. The Prime Minister of the country is inaugurating it. Snehlata Srivastava, 2011, Imphal, new assembly complex inaugurated by then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. 2007, first green legislative building in Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly Secretariat Complex inaugurated again by Dr. Manmohan Singh. So, the head of executive can do it in the past, the head of executive cannot do it now. So, do you see hypocrisy here, or do you think it's okay, it's par for the course, this politics?
You see, it is, there is no such provision about the inauguration that who should do it. It is about the availability of the important political people and the main brain behind the whole project, who has worked day and night for that particular project, and if the executive head is doing it, who is also elected by the people of this country.
Yes.
I don't think there is any constitutional, violation, because in the constitution under Article 87, the President, the Honorable President comes and addresses both the houses on the first session of the year.
Yes.
And after the general election, the first session. So it is there, and nobody is, that right is very much there of the Honorable President, and I suppose it is the administration side which is at present happening, and after that the constitutional provision to run the parliament will always be as per the parliament procedures.
Is that also your view, Mr. Malhotra? Should President Draupadi Murmu be inaugurating the new parliament building, or is the opposition action actually bringing a bad name, this politics, to a very august function on the 28th of May, sir?
You see, Honorable Speaker of Lok Sabha is the custodian of the parliamentary precincts. He has the authority to make any changes in the building or make any provisions for the members of parliament for both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in consultation with, of course, Chairman Rajya Sabha. Now he has requested the executive head for inaugurating the building, and he has also requested the Honorable President and the Honorable Vice President for messages on this happy occasion when the Sengal will also be placed near the Speaker's chair. Now it's a happy occasion, it should have been attended by all the members of Parliament, and as I said earlier, the executive heads have been inaugurating it, and the heads, the president or the governors who are the representatives of the president have not even once done it in the independent
not even once
India.
in independent India.
No state assembly.
Yep, you're absolutely right, sir. Pranab sir, what about the symbolism? Mr. Malhotra is talking about the...
Yes, because he's a...
Mr. Malhotra is also talking about the symbolism associated with the Sengal. Does the Congress support the Sengal being handed over to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and then the Prime Minister handing over the Sengal, keeping it next to the Speaker of Lok Sabha? Chol Vansh ka wo Raj Dand jo aayega?
Gaurav, it is tokenism. The same thing could happen. हाँ, राजदंड वो राष्ट्रपति प्रधानमंत्री जी को दे सकती थी और प्रधानमंत्री जी स्पीकर को और जो वाइस चेयरमैन जिसको भी है वो दे सकते थे। कहने का मतलब यह है कि जब वो आर्गुमेंट कर रहे हैं जीसी मल्होत्रा जी कि स्पीकर ने इनवाइट भेजा एग्जीक्यूटिव को, तो स्पीकर ने इनवाइट प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया को क्यों नहीं भेजा? उनको भेजा जा सकता था, क्योंकि जो संसद है वो पक्ष विपक्ष दोनों का है।
नहीं, उनको मैसेजेस के लिए भेजा है।
को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, वो जीते चुने हुए सांसद एक दल के नेता है, एक दल के नेता है। प्रधानमंत्री विपक्ष को संसद के सत्र पर
गौरव में प्लीज
सत्र पर जो है विपक्ष की निंदा करते हैं, प्रेसिडेंट वो नहीं करते हैं। प्रेसिडेंट बिलोंग्स टू द कंट्री, every citizen.
So as the Prime Minister, yes, Sanjeev Verma, quickly, last 30 seconds. Go on, ma'am. Go on.
Thank you. You know, Gaurav, I have tremendous respect for Rahul Srivastava, but where I disagree with him very humbly is when he said that the BJP and Prime Minister and Modi government, etc., should have shown large-heartedness. We showed large-heartedness when a couple of months back, if you recall, the Prime Minister unveiled a 28-foot long, tall statue of Netaji Bose at Kartavya Path. After that canopy by George V was vacated way back in 1968. We gave out an invite to Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. You know what he said? And this is there in an article written by India Today. Then, he said, I was busy with Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. I did not have time to waste on these, superfluities.
Okay.
And an invite was extended to Mallikarjun Kharge. What Mallikarjun Kharge said? I don't have the time to do this. I was busy with my internal party affairs. When you are invited, you don't have the time, you don't have the grace, you don't have the magnanimity to honor our national heroes.
Clearly, this isn't the last, but today I will stay on this issue of the new parliament building. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated India's concerns about attacks on temples and activities of Khalistani extremists in Australia. He raised this issue with the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who gave clear assurances to Prime Minister Narendra Modi action would be taken against violators of law. Australia has made it very clear there is no place for violence in Australia.
Racist attacks and slurs, vandalism of Hindu temples, rise of Indian separatists down under. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's talks with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese during his two-day visit were not just about geopolitics and trade. The two leaders discussed the recent attacks on temples and the activities of separatist elements in Australia. Prime Minister Modi's message was loud and clear. All antisocial elements associated with temple vandalism in Australia should be strictly dealt with.
फ्रेंड्स, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मंदिरों पर होने वाले हमलों और अलगाववादी तत्वों की गतिविधियों के संबंध में हमने पहले भी बात की थी और आज भी हमने बात की है। प्रधानमंत्री अल्बनीज़ी ने
इस संदर्भ में जो कदम उठाए हैं, मैं इसके लिए उनको धन्यवाद देता हूं। साथ ही उन्होंने मुझे एक बार फिर आश्वस्त किया है कि वो ऐसे तत्वों के विरुद्ध सख्त एक्शन लेते रहेंगे।
India lauded Albanese for the crackdown on racism.
The progress is clearly reflected in the fact that Honourable Prime Minister of India thanked Honourable Prime Minister of Australia for the action that the Government of Australia has taken, not just in making correct appreciation of the nature of such activities, but also against the elements which perpetrated such attacks.
The Australian government also stressed that anti-India attacks will not be tolerated.
We are a multicultural democracy, but we safeguard our social cohesion. There is no space for hatred, and there's certainly no space for violence.
India's ties with Australia are deepening, with thousands of Indians making the island nation their home over last few decades. The relationship between the two countries now goes beyond the strategic sphere. Prime Minister Modi's visit highlighted this aspect and the importance India accords to its ties with Australia. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, we will track the story very closely, but that is all I have time for on the News Track this evening. Many thanks for watching. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.